Previously on Chapter 1.
So they found footprints, remarkably like what you find in the US. That means the footprint of the Bigfoot.
So they found Bigfoot footprints.
Footprints. So then the royal family of Johor came into action also.
No way.
This is what they say.
Holy shit.
A long time ago, we had one in our family line, somebody who owns apes and gorillas. We release it to the forest. So these are the descendants of those gorillas. Right, so the thing is fake. But I think it was comical, at that time because, so when I read it, I laughed. I said, this is called the Endau Rompin National Park. ENDAUROMP, Endau Rompin National Park in Johor. So there are sightings.
That's where the sightings were.
The sightings were.
Okay.
Yeah. And then through today, it's still not disproved. And people still go in there to try to hunt and search. Yeah. So it is quite famous. It's so famous that it was even basically documentaries were done about this area that people wanted to go. But the thing is that the sad thing was it was done in 2006. And there is a saying by researchers over there that there was a colony of them in that part of Malaysia. A colony of them came down all the way from jungles of Perak. They actually travelled down to Johor. So I don't know what's the evidence.
It's like a migration.
It's like a migration.
Which Bigfoot, the ones that I've been watching, the researchers have been researching in the US, they also migrate depending on season.
So, in case you're wondering, Malaysia has very good forests. Okay. Very primary forests, very thick, very jungle.
Yes.
Some are unexplored, some areas. So there could be a possibility that these things actually happen there. Yeah. So, just right next to our doorstep.
Well, it could be a friend of mine named Michael also who's walking around.
Yeah, right. So I found this very interesting. And then I said, oh wow, this I better mention since you're mentioning about Bigfoot in America, right? So I don't know what's the research like now. But, I think most probably they have stopped, right? It'd be interesting.
Well, it'd be interesting if we got some in Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore, yes, we do have also.
You'll get the fuck out of here, man.
Don't play.
Come on, Bong.
In Singapore, I tell you, we have heard of this thing on. I heard it on social media. Okay, so they call this BTM, not the band BTS, BTM. The Buket Timah Monkey Man. Okay. Okay, no lah. Okay, cannot make fun, huh? Okay, so in Singapore, we have a forested area, which is so small, like a football.
Which is fucking Buket Timah Nature Reserve. Okay.
It's like a football field, my God. And they have visions that people have seen these things happening. Okay. So I was laughing. I said, Buket Timah, of all places in Singapore, is an island.
Oh, come on,
man. What's happening?
What the fuck?
And that spot, nature reserve.
Must be a tiny Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's a small one. Maybe a dwarf. So it's like, the crazy part is
Orang pendek.
A lot of people use that nature trail for mountain biking, jogging, hiking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mental. It's not even a forest anymore. Right. It's just a transport for people who want to touch in case.
Kai, do we have a picture of that, Kai? Is this the one?
This one came out in 2020. This was the report that came out.
This is where? 2020 where? Malaysia?
It's Singapore.
What? You talking about fucking 4 years ago?
4 years ago. Yes. That was the
Where?
Okay. I do not know it, but it's Buket Timah.
Can you put that picture up? Put that picture up again, please.
Not that one.
No. The first one. Put that picture up again, Kai.
Yeah.
That one.
Yes.
Fuck me. Now, if we take a closer look, man, looks like an orangutan.
It looks like an orangutan, correct? But we don't have orangutan in Singapore.
That is true.
Yeah.
We don't even have gorillas, right? Do we?
And I believe it's a nature park because of the way the grass is right in front.
Yeah.
It's very typical Singapore pavement leaves.
Yeah.
So that's
it could have been Malaysia as well.
Yeah, correct. So they saw that. And then
there's another one.
There were some accounts by local people that were like this picture.
Okay. Can we flash that one? Here we go.
So this picture came out.
Oh, come on. That guy's on the pavement.
Yeah, and he looks like he's wearing some Santa Claus suit. Yeah. But then again, there were a lot of reports that this person or this thing actually has been around.
What?
Yeah, so for a long time, right?
I've never heard that folklore.
Buket Timah man. So the thing is that it was not brought up until recently again, where there was a hiker who saw the thing.
Recently is how long ago?
Recently, let me see if I can get my facts in my brain.
Yeah. Can we flash a picture up again? Kai, don't bring it up.
I would say somewhere in 2012. I wouldn't say that recent, but it's somewhere in 2012.
Oh, fuck. Wait, hang on. It looks like But you know, if you were to look at the picture, he's kind of big, man.
Yeah.
But what's all the rubbish on the ground?
Yeah, I think he was foraging for food. So so there were two reports. One was basically a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Right. He actually banged into one of these things.
No.
Yeah, really.
Huh?
So I want to find who's the taxi driver.
What the fuck?
He actually knocked out, ran in the middle of the road, and the car bonnet, and then actually banged one of these creatures. Was crossing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, killer.
You're talking about Buket Timah area?
Buket Timah area. Okay, and then it's like I don't know how true it is. He saw blood coming out from the arm and it was like, just running off.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, because in Singapore, right, we do have animals, wild animals as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes go out of their territory.
But we don't have...
we have deers.
We don't have primates, right?
Yeah.
Except, of course, but monkeys are not primates, right?
Yeah, we see deers, we still have deers in Buket Timah area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that area. And then another report was that, what do you call it? This animal was seen, the picture was witnessed by someone who was going to work early in the morning to take public transport on a bus.
And he sees
bus number 171.
And he sees
he see this and then he
fucking tall, big, hairy
they
thing.
took a video of it and then they saw this picture. But they say it's bipedal, large, 3 meters tall.
And what happened? He took the picture, the thing ran away or what?
I know, I think he ran away first. He was very
I
frightened.
would fucking know.
So the very fact that these reports were resurgent.
Yeah.
It came out a long time ago also, during the Japanese occupation in Singapore. Buket Timah had a special place among the soldiers.
Right.
There's a burial ground there. So for their own soldiers.
Right.
So they had witnessed this and they made a report also about
is that right?
They have seen these things.
Oh.
And it goes back to 1871, older than that, reports from the orang Asli who stays around this area.
Yeah.
Seen all these things. So
hey, you and I have got to camp out there.
yeah, we've got to camp out there one day.
Fucking hell.
Maybe just get some mosquitoes.
No, I don't want to get. I don't want to witness ghosts, but I don't mind catching Bigfoot.
But the fact is that the stories of this can even reach into a small island like this.
Man.
They're everywhere. In every country you go, you'll find stories of this.
Yeah.
Indonesia, in Thailand, in Australia.
In the Gold Coast, they've got the creature there. They call it the Yowie.
Yeah.
And they all look the same. Just that the color of the hair differs.
Yeah, differs.
The Yeti we know is all white.
Yeah, correct.
The ones in Alaska are also more whitish, and because of the cold, right? The ones in California in the redwood forest is brown.
Yeah. That's right.
And then the ones I've heard of, like in Indonesia, is all black.
Yeah.
So I suppose they all have races too, man. I don't know.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So that's why primatologists initially was thinking that they exist in secret, but according to the different climates.
Yeah.
Right. But then the school of thought came out now that no, actually these are all interdimensional links. So they appear whenever there's certain sightings in the sky.
Yeah.
And somehow they appear.
But I will just go on with what I've also discovered. Yeah. We also know that when we hear from people who have had close encounters with UFOs, they usually before these things happen, right? A few things will happen. We know that the electrics and the electronics will all break down. Your car's, the engine will stop. But more importantly, it's quiet. There's utter silence. And there's no more birds chirping. You don't hear wind rustling through the leaves of trees. Nothing. Complete stillness.
Yeah.
Whenever, also on the same given, whenever Bigfoot is in the immediate vicinity, the same shit happens.
Yeah.
Complete utter silence. No breeze, no wind, no sound.
Yeah.
Similar to UFO encounters, close encounters, right? Always an eerie sense of being watched.
Yeah, that's what I felt when I was on Vancouver Island. No sound, no chirping. It was like you're inside a studio. It's totally silent. You only hear ringing in your ears. So that creeped me out. It was very unnatural. And then you feel that somebody is watching you, but you don't know from where. Okay, now this one is somebody saying,
say, hey, Bigfoot saw you. Say, hey, Singaporean. I've never seen a Singaporean before.
Or they'll say, this man, I think he's mad. He goes to a mental institution. But I tell you honestly, that was when I really, I felt that it was too silent.
Yeah.
There was really no noise. And come on now, you should have some rustling. There are a lot of
of course, yes.
Animals,
especially in a place like Vancouver Island, man.
Zero, boy.
And close by to the shore, right?
Yeah, zero. And then zero. Then the thing is that you felt somebody was just watching you. Yeah, yes. I don't know how to describe.
Always this sense that someone's watching, right?
Yes, correct.
Another thing that's really now this one takes a cake. For those who don't know this, wherever there's Bigfoot, there are orbs of light, and sometimes around him according to eyewitnesses, right? And these lights are usually about 3 lights, the size of tennis balls, like what you see in the picture right now, and sometimes even the size of basketballs. Researchers have encountered these, yeah, and always claim to be, especially by those who are hot on the heels of Bigfoot, these 3 orbs will appear, or lights will appear somehow. And on Expedition Bigfoot, there's one particular episode. Now, this one freaked me out. I saw it was a complex filled with lights, right? You turn on the spotlights and stuff in the distance. But no, it was in the forest, and it was a whole row lighted up.
Wow.
Right? And when they went over to that spot, of course the lights went off. It was nothing. It was forest. I would have thought that really there were buildings in the distance.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't. So this wasn't just orbs of light. This was like a whole wash, floodlights, in the forest, which I found it really, really freaky. But orbs, man. Orbs and light. Orbs is like, okay, some people would say, those in the paranormal side, they will say, those people who talk about these kind of things, they will say, oh, spirit energy. Fuck me. But then again, orbs of lights in Skinwalker Ranch, right? Yeah. On Skinwalker Ranch, orbs of lights in the sky, we'll attribute it that, that's a UAP flying around, right? But Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And then you talk about dimensional. Now, this one takes the cake. This one also on Vancouver Island. No, wrong, Kentucky. And this guy, it happened right in front of him, like a couple of meters away, like this. He face to face with Bigfoot. You know what Bigfoot did? He said, crossed his arms like that, looked down, squatted, and then vanished, turned invisible.
Wow.
So, and through most of the seasons I've been watching, there have been many things like that happened, yeah? When they were hot on the heels of Bigfoot, it goes invisible. And you can sometimes see him using infrared or thermal vision. Okay? Now, it seems that they have, like the freaking Klingons on Star Trek, that kind of technology, because their hair is so messy and stinks, and somehow could cloak themselves, and then the surrounding air around that Bigfoot sighting you see, then he went invisible, pixelated. So it's like the Predator movie.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how the Predator producers and writers got that idea.
Correct.
But I'm just scratching my head about that shit. But people are saying that really the guy looks pixelated. Now, the expedition of these researchers caught this phenomenon on lidar. And lidar is a topographic light. It's called topographic lidar. Okay. It uses a near infrared laser to map the land or cave. So what they do is they'll send this drone, and the drone using lidar technology will map the land. So you see terrain, you see elevation, you can even get the heights of elevations and stuff like that. Even if you go through a cave, it will map out the cave and everything will look as is, okay, in lidar format. Now, as they were chasing Bigfoot into a mine shaft, okay, they actually found that the guy was missing. But the lidar caught him just sitting on a boulder with his back facing you, and that's it. That's waiting for you, like, you can't see me.
Not really. Wow.
Now, I have a picture of this one here with Bigfoot hiding behind a tree, and the lidar caught him. And this is a lidar image of Bigfoot. Okay?
There's a shadow behind.
No, you see the one in green? Where the tree is?
Yeah.
In front of the tree? The whole aura in green?
Okay.
Yeah. That is the lidar of Bigfoot.
I see.
Yeah. So this guy can cloak himself.
Yeah, they can cloak.
Yeah.
Such things has also been brought up by certain researchers in America. That we have reptilians.
Okay, we're going there now.
We have the
Dracos.
Huh?
The Dracos.
The insectoids. The praying mantis.
Yeah.
Okay, people like us, humans. So they also have this Sasquatch. The reason being is that
what do you mean they have the Sasquatch?
the Sasquatch is another form, another race, another alien.
So you're saying the Sasquatch could be alien?
Yeah, that's what they say. Because
the Bigfoot could be alien.
When the different worlds were created, let's hypothetically say this, in the universe, different sort of species were allowed to grow and be strong. Darwin's theory,
right?
Survival of
evolution.
So the Dracos, the reptilians, where they develop themselves,
right?
The praying mantis race, and then us as humans, and then we have another one, the Sasquatch.
Right.
So when they communicate, that's why I was talking about the Sierra incident in 1971. When I heard that, I was really frightened because I believe that was not a bullshit thing or just to sell a documentary or whatever. Because I do feel, after looking at their faces, the way they explained, the way the story was presented, and the way the audio was cleaned up very clearly, you could hear a kind of language they were talking to each other.
Right.
And it was like although they may look like primates to us,
right,
but they could be something else. This is one of my takes.
Yeah.
Because and why do they appear only in forests? I'm not very sure. Yeah, but they have this technology to cloak, technology to disappear, the technology to use energy like orbs to disappear into dimensions.
Yeah.
So it speaks.
Which is what the researchers were also suspecting, though they think it was quite a stretch.
Yeah.
But you talk about we believe it's primate. Well, let me tell you about the strands of hair that went for DNA analysis. Yeah. I think there was something else as well that went for DNA analysis that they found in the so-called Bigfoot nest, besides their hair. But they call it Bigfoot hides. Sorry. They were sent. Each of these were sent for separate DNA analysis. So it's all from separate labs, yeah? One result showing that the DNA is something that cannot be explained because they contain the combined DNA of more human and part wolf.
Skinwalker.
Jeez, that's what came to mind. Expedition Bigfoot. Can we put these guys up, please? Expedition Bigfoot, Kai. Let's honor these people, man, because they do so much work. It's ridiculous.
I think I've seen this.
These are the people from Expedition Bigfoot. Okay. And their scientific expedition, the show's resident primatologist, and she's a skeptic, cynical as shit, but let me tell you something, this has freaked her out. She is a primatologist, Dr. Maria Major. She could not understand this whole thing. She discovered, she's renowned because she discovered a new species in the world. The world's smallest primate in Madagascar. She's not a quack.
I see.
And she has been scratching her head. She's the skeptic there, but she uses data and science and she cannot explain it. Okay. And then, as I said earlier, right, about electronic equipment, and I'm watching the show, torchlights go off when he's around, when Bigfoot's around. Everything electronic fails. The infrared, the thermal fail sometimes. All of a sudden, something that's fully charged, the battery's fully charged, drains completely. Same thing when you capture it, when you have a UFO sighting.
Correct.
Things like this happen as well. So there is some crazy sort of correlation to ET. So it's safe to say, based on fact, that based on the DNA results, Bigfoot's not a primate. Sasquatch not a primate. Some people say the aliens are actually humans from another galaxy or from our future. Or from another dimension. So who knows, man? Is Bigfoot an alien?
Yeah, correct. So that is where you brought up some observation. You say that torchlights and electric equipment malfunction, right?
Yeah.
And they're there. It's the same thing. I think there's an energy field.
Yeah.
It's very hard to put them as primate because the problem is it's not people are frightened after videoing them and run away, but they actually run towards this thing and try to catch more.
Yeah.
But they move so fast, they disappear.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I've yet got to see a very clear picture of, I hope handphone technology one day will reach in such a level that you can actually catch a very clear and sharp one. But there are many, many instances where they are caught while on a moving train in the forested areas. They are caught sitting down on a hill. Very small, but the way you measure them, they are very huge. So,
but getting them on camera is difficult. You know
it's
why?
very difficult. Yeah.
Because things fail.
Yeah.
The electronics fail. The batteries fail.
Yeah. And most of the time caught off guard. You're not ready to shoot.
Yeah. And the guy just turns up.
Correct. So it's a very interesting phenomenon.
Yeah.
This because that's why they relate it to somewhere of a interdimension. Like this person, Jacques Vallée from France.
Yeah.
Right. So he researches in the UFOs, but after a while he came to the conclusion too that we are looking at the wrong side of things. That they come from another planet.
Yeah.
They come from another dimension.
Right.
Coming in and they're going out.
Yeah.
So that's why you see them, they fleetingly disappear and fleetingly come in.
Yeah.
So that's a new school of thought. And Jacques Vallée is a very huge influencer in the ufology field. He's still alive. And also, he's one of my heroes. So I sort of read, and he comes out with alternative information.
Yeah.
Like, one day we will do the NASA footages and all that. But then again, tune in.
Yeah. So, not just that, maybe they wait for the new James Fox documentary coming out.
So things like that. So there's a lot of evidence.
Yeah.
But most of the time, people are always wanting to. These ufologists, researchers, Bigfoot researchers, they always have to collect a lot of data. You know that's their responsibility.
Yeah.
Because the world will not believe them if they do not have these things. So they have to. So I believe them because everything they do, even on Skinwalker Ranch, all about data, collecting evidence and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So what more other field do you have? Even if you commit a crime, you go to the court of law. It's your word of mouth. There is no evidence. Maybe there's some evidence, but the jury will listen to your account.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But in this field of science, pseudoscience like aliens, UFOs, Sasquatch and all that stuff, people don't believe that because they say, "Oh, you want to share that story? I think there's something wrong with you."
Yeah.
It's a prejudgment given.
Well, it's like what we talked about last season. Remember on our episode about ancient aliens?
Yeah, ancient aliens.
Yeah, same damn thing, But then again, it's so weird, isn't it? When we talk about something that's got to do with ancient civilizations and we're getting our timelines wrong, and then now we discover there could be a link with Bigfoot. I mean, there's so much we just don't fucking know.
Yeah, they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And on that note, let's give some flash reports. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Remember Las Vegas, the sighting in Las Vegas last year?
Yes, I caught it on TikTok.
This kid, this 17-year-old boy who called the cops and said that there's alien in the backyard
of his house.
and he was hiding in the tractor in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
That was a year ago. Now, this is what we discovered 1 year later. And this one, Kai, can we have that one about the... Whoa, wow. What was that?
Alex, good to see you.
Yeah, that's the one. Not that one. The one before that, the genuine encounter.
It's one.
Yeah, that's the one. Why does it sound like that? Okay.
One thing to squint at a fuzzy video on YouTube and then decide space aliens do or do not exist. And it's another thing entirely to subject those sightings to the same kind of scientific rigor that puts, say, killers in prison. Scott Roeder is that kind of skeptic. He is an evidence expert and crime scene reconstructionist with 33 years of experience and 1,500 cases to his credit. He is the founder of the Evidence Room, a group that assembles specialists in forensic animation, 3D modeling, and motion graphics. He took a close look at the video that was recorded by that family in Las Vegas, and he applied his technology to try to debunk it. Here he is on his YouTube channel, Crime Scene, discussing what he calls the entity in the family's backyard.
We can take a video and look at whether or not there is an artificial artifact added to it or not. And in this case, we can definitively say, to a degree of scientific certainty, that this entity, this thing in the video is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there. Like, this is so critical because you can clearly see through the slots in the fence that there is a leg motion moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind there. So this isn't just like a head floating in space. This is a head of that is somehow that does not have full opacity, that the opacity of the head of the shadow is only at about 33% opacity versus a normal shadow, which would be at 100% opacity, or an object in the screen, which is at 100%. And this isn't anything that you did. It's just what you were able to determine, that this shadow being, or this being in the shadows, possibly creating its own shadow or smoky filter or cloaking technique, is not only cloaking itself from the people there, but cloaking itself from the camera itself, in that it's minimizing our ability to identify pixels inside of that shadow.
So, cloaking again.
Yeah. And that's where the black helicopters come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is something that I always said from day one. Some people say, no, they come in peace and love.
Yeah, but this kid, right, he reported about this. The cops came.
Yeah.
And the cops saw. And the cops said that, we can't handle this, man. And they wanted to run.
Yeah.
They said, we can't handle this. And you should see the footage about that, man. That was last year, right?
Yeah.
Now, News Nation came up with this. And this guy who's a forensic expert who solved lots of crimes before has said that this is real. This is not faked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reporter from News Nation went to talk to this boy 1 year later. Kai, can we play that video, please?
Alex, good to see you. I have to ask you, what are you making? Because there's something really interesting about this. And it's that last night it was reported there was more strange activity in and around the home. What is going on here?
Right. The story goes that just about a year ago, the Kenmore family saw these mysterious, unidentifiable creatures in their backyard right here behind me, right? They said that they were 10-foot tall creatures, that they were standing there looking at them. They could see them breathing. Angel says that he was actually growling at him, freaking them out so much that they actually called 911. Well, it turns out that these unidentified, unexplainable phenomenon didn't just stop at that night. Angel went into great detail with me during our one-on-one conversation about other paranormal activity that's been happening, but this time inside of their house. It goes beyond just seeing shadows and hearing whispers. These are really freaky things that he told me during our exclusive conversation. Take a listen. You mentioned paranormal activity. What exactly did you see?
Well, I was in another room. My brother called me, and there was a upside down cross, and there was a Jesus statue on it. They ripped Jesus out of it. They threw him across the room, and it was floating upside down.
Are you saying floating in the air?
Yeah, in the air. It was floating upside down.
What did you do? I mean, did you go and pick it up? Did you knock it down? How?
No, I didn't do nothing. I was just sitting there. I was crazy. I was like, what?
But how did it come down? It's not still floating right now, is it?
No, it came down. So we got closer to it and then just dropped.
It fell to the ground. A crucifix.
Yeah.
Floating in the air, upside down. The Jesus on the crucifix had been ripped off.
Yeah.
And it was floating.
Yep.
And you can say definitively, without lies, that is what you saw.
Yes. Swear to God, that's what I saw.
Okay, and what about the Bible? What did you tell me about the Bible?
Oh yeah, the Bible. So I was chilling normal. There was just a Bible just going like this, flipping the pages. But it was steady. It wasn't because of the air. It was steady. Somebody was holding it. As soon as I got close to it, it dropped again.
This is inside your house, not outdoors.
No,
wind,
it's inside. Yeah.
No wind factor, but the page is steadily turning on a Bible.
Yeah.
And you have the same justification for that as well, demonic presence?
Yeah, I can see demonic presence. Yeah.
The pages of the Bible were moving on their own, and an actual crucifix hanging upside down.
Yeah. So we had a couple priests come over to the house, pray over the house, and everything seems to be normal again.
Are you connecting all these things together, everything you saw in your backyard, to the things you've experienced over these past few months?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I think so. I still have an explanation of what it is, still pretty weird, and I have no clue what it is.
What did the priest say when they actually came to your house?
They were saying that it might be fallen angels, like demons or fallen angels, something like that.
Fallen angels inside your home.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
How does it make you feel about living here still?
Right now I feel good, There's a lot of time priests came over, but yeah, but whatever happened on last year May, that was pretty scary, man. I was pretty traumatized and stuff like that.
What does that look like to you? You said you're traumatized. I don't want to make you relive it.
Yeah.
What is that like?
It's pretty bad, man. You can't sleep, not to sound like a crybaby, but, You cry most of the time when you think about it. You get flashbacks. You know, not a good experience.
With all of the paranormal activity happening inside your house, are you thinking about moving away?
Oh yeah, soon I'm gonna move away from this house. Yeah.
Everybody or just you?
Everybody, I think.
You guys are done with this place?
Yeah.
What do you say to the people who believe that your family just made this whole thing up to try to get attention?
They could believe whatever they want, you know. I'm not doing it for. If I did it for fame, I would be on YouTube and stuff like that, doing more videos. But I don't care, guys. I just went on TikTok and YouTube, made my story.
And while we certainly have Angel's story to go off of, other people here in this neighborhood have also filled in some of the gaps and some of the things that they found freaky about that night that those two unidentified beings were seen by the Kenmore family in their backyard. For example, a guy who lives just right down the street just saw us out here on the side of the road and began talking to us, and he remembered that night as well. He said that for some bizarre reason, his TV all of a sudden stopped working at that time, that his surveillance cameras no longer were working, his lights were shutting off. So put all of this together, the Kenmore sighting, what the neighbors are reporting, not to mention what those Las Vegas police officers saw on those body-worn cameras, that flash of light streak across the sky 39 minutes before that 911 call. It really is an unexplainable phenomenon happening here in Las Vegas.
Okay, so Bong, you know something, man. I mean, I got to tell you, remember the kid is saying that he thinks they're fallen angels, the priests that they got, upside down cross, crucifix, and then the body of Christ was taken out of the crucifix and Bible was flipping and was levitating. I'm telling you, man, this is what I think. It is nothing to do with the supernatural. It was probably something really cloaking, invisibility. Just now we saw the first video that this thing could cloak those aliens, right? Probably in this boy's angel's home, curious about the crucifix, took it off, took the body out, looking around at it, another one flipping the Bible. And they're cloaked. They can't be seen. You know? And then again, we hear about the electronics are going on in the neighbor's house, a couple of blocks down the road, right? The CCTV's didn't work, blah, blah, blah. And I really don't think it's got to do with anything supernatural.
There is a spiritual dimension. We got to look into this. Because he mentioned about fallen angel. Yeah. So those who are into Christianity, they will have read this, right? Even in the Bible, if you want to talk a bit about that, you have a lot of strange occurrences where they describe things that were a bit controversial. Today, if you use it in a scientific way, you will find they mention a lot of things. And one of them they mentioned was fallen angels. So what this person is saying, it is, I find nothing to do with that experience that he went through. Maybe he could have been or is going through something else that is different. But what struck me was the report that this person made, a forensic report, that was a shadow and it was a cloaking device. Now that's very frightening because it's from an expert's point of view. And then with that video evidence, it shows that why do you need to cloak? I mean, I find this very sinister. Yeah, I always come into this.
Well, maybe they want to escape. You know, the craft has crashed.
Yeah, so or something else. You know, there is something else. And there's so much secrecy in the US. They know something that we do not know. Yeah, and they just do not want until today. Since we had the last sessions on the Senate hearings and all that, the thing has just died down. Yeah, it's just incredibly finished. Yeah, close shop.
Oh, good that you mentioned that because I got something to talk about, say about that to end the show later on. Just to quickly move along, man. There's this some more reports about Singapore.
All right.
There is an image that was taken. Take a look at the screen, man. Look at that image.
Wow, where is this, man?
Somewhere in Singapore. It says here. What does it say now? It says Tan Kah Kee MRT station.
Oh, that's in Buket Timah.
Yep.
All right.
At 7:20. What time was that? What does it say? I can't see.
7:25 p.m.
7:25 p.m.
Wow.
7:25 p.m. And this was a couple. I think what was this? A couple of months ago, I think. And that is what the guy took, and he was hovering in the sky. Yeah.
Wow.
There ain't no drone, man.
Wow.
It's quite big, huh?
Yeah. Where do you find this footage from.
You can find stuff on Reddit, man.
Oh, Reddit, huh?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
It's all over Reddit.
Yeah.
And then there's one more in Singapore as well. This was taken a couple of years ago. There is this strange light. It's a video. It's a video. There you go. And this kind of small, it's whitish. There's a birds in the evening. See that? It didn't shoot off. It was just hovering and moving really slow. There's no like typical plain lights flashing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It looked like a tic tac, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's so far in and around Singapore, man. We got to give some kind of reports every now and then if we can find those.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, this is the kicker. This is where I'm going to read this for all of you. We were talking about Luis Elizondo, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's been a show called The Good Trouble Show on the News Nation with this guy named Matt Ford. And Matt Ford had an interview with Luis Elizondo. And Elizondo exposed the Pentagon's attempt to erase him. Now, let me give some background for the benefit of our listeners, those people who don't know him. Luis Elizondo is a media personality and former U.S. Army Counterintelligence Special Agent and former employee of the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. From 2008 till 2017, till his resignation, Elizondo worked with the Office for the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence in the Pentagon. He claims that ending in 2012, he was the director of what we call ATIP, known as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. It is also like something like AERO that we talked about earlier on, right? This is a special access program funded at the initiative of the then Senate Majority Leader, Harry Reid, to investigate aerial threats, including UAPs. Elizondo told a reporter he thought that he might have been selected for ATIP because of his scientific background, as well as his work as a counterintelligence agent protecting American aerospace technology, and lack of interest in science fiction. Now, according to the Department of Defense, the ATIP program ended in 2012 after 5 years. But Elizondo claims he worked with officials in the U.S. Navy and CIA out of the Pentagon for this program until October 2017, when he resigned to protest what he characterized as excessive secrecy and internal opposition. He asserts that underestimating or ignoring these potential threats is not in the best interest of the department, no matter the level of political contention. The New Yorker reports that Elizondo was hired to take over the program, which was an outgrowth of a government project awarded to a businessman and paranormal enthusiast, Robert Bigelow, Skinwalker Ranch, ostensibly to examine the future of warfare, but reporting almost exclusively about UFOs, including a photo of a supposed tracking device that supposed aliens had supposedly implanted in a supposed abductee. Lots of supposes here. His position in the ATIP was questioned by The Intercept, which is a periodical, and challenged by Pentagon officials, with them saying that Elizondo had no responsibilities with regard to the ATIP program while he worked in OUSDI up until the time he resigned effectively in 2017. Elizondo, in response, filed a complaint with the agency inspector general, claiming a coordinated campaign to discredit him for speaking out, including Pentagon press statements asserting he had no official role in UFO research. Even after his role was officially confirmed, the Inspector General's complaint, Elizondo also stated that he was a target of a personal vendetta from a Pentagon rival. Okay? Senator Reid sent a letter to NBC News stating, "I can state as a matter of record that Luis Elizondo's involvement and leadership role in this program." He confirmed it. Now, what's just happened yesterday or today? Elizondo wrote this, and he was interviewed. Now, this is how I'm going to end the show, and then we're going to be playing the video of the interview on the Good Trouble show with Ross Coulthard, who was the guy, the journalist who brought out the whistleblower David Grush. Remember last year?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that's how we're going to end the show.
Okay.
But I'm going to read this from Elizondo. Later, when confronted with a Freedom of Information Act request, the Pentagon denied again the existence of any email or correspondence between me and other seniors within the department whom I was regularly engaged with until the day I left the Pentagon in 2017. Recently, one of my emails was leaked by an unknown person on Reddit. This time, when the Pentagon was challenged and with the existence of the email, in this case, one that described the authorized transfer of ATIP leadership responsibilities to another senior member of the department and endorsed by the Secretary of Defense front office. They were forced to admit this email existed and was not deleted as they previously claimed. Begrudgingly, when the Pentagon finally did release the email, proving my role and participation in ATIP, as I read just now, right? The Pentagon decided to redact the mention of ATIP, citing Freedom of Information Act exemptions. By this logic, they would also have to redact the name and AARO, Arrow, and any other office at the Pentagon. When people first inquired about my story, the Pentagon initially confirmed my role in ATIP and the focus of its efforts. Shortly after Secretary Mattis left the department, the Pentagon changed its tune by saying all my emails had been deleted. The same emails that would substantiate not only my claims, but many of those who were part of the ATIP effort, including one of its sponsors, the late Senator Harry Reid. It should also be noted that the Pentagon's mouthpiece for this is one individual within the Public Affairs Office who has been given sole authority to handle all Freedom of Information Act requests involving UAPs, Arrow, ATIP, and specifically me. All this information in the public sphere and can be easily verified thanks to the works of certain private citizens fighting for increased government transparency through the Freedom of Information Act process. Simply put, you and Congress continue to be lied to by a few at the Pentagon who prefer to view you and the American people as sheeple. Make no mistake, the Pentagon Public Affairs Office has a long history of feeding misinformation to certain questionable journalists to mislead the American public. And that relationship is alive and well today and is in fact now legal through a new and disturbing policy of perception management. To add insult to injury, I was notified yesterday that there may be a personal threat against myself and several other whistleblowers formerly associated with the UAP effort for the US government. As such, I would like to make this perfectly clear to the American people. I am not prone to accidents. I am not suicidal. I am not abusing drugs. I am not engaged in any illicit activities. If something happens to me or my family members in the future, you will know what happened. Luis Elizondo.
Yes.
So apparently, there's been threats against other whistleblowers as well, despite the fact that Congress has said, come forward. So we're going to play the Ross Coulthard commentary with Matt Ford on the Good Trouble Show to end this episode and hear what Ross Coulthard has to say. Okay. But Bong, I hope you had fun today.
Definitely.
It's been, whoa, man, my goodness. I've been like talking so much for most of my episodes this time.
2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. 2 hours. It's going to be another two-parter, Kai.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be a 2 parts, man. It's going to be Bong's butt on one part and my butt on the other part.
All right.
Thanks again, Bong. I hope you had fun. I will see you again next season for our series UFO Reveal Asia. People, this has been Ignatius Bong and myself, Chris Hansen, of the Chris Hansen Conversation. Whatever it is, remember we always say this, look the fuck up. Bye, guys.
Sir. G'day, Matt. How are you? I'm shocked by what Lou and you have revealed today. That is quite something.
It is quite something. And what is your reaction to all of this?
Okay, it's very hard to overstate the implications of what Lou has told you today. I've known about some of what Lou's talked about there for some time. I'm amazed he's gone public with it, and I'm very happy to see he's finally done this because, frankly, I think a lot of this needs to be brought out into the open because a lot of whistleblowers are being intimidated, threatened, and possibly worse. Now, what we're looking at here is, as you've pointed out, a clear breach of Executive Order 12333. That's a presidential executive order. The president has the right under the Constitution to issue executive orders, and they did that back in the Reagan era. There was a response to the illegalities that have been revealed both during Watergate and Iran-Contra, and they basically made a law which said there will not be any perception or operations, any deception, propaganda operations run against the American public. You do not let an executive, or indeed any arm of government, run out of control to the extent that it's breaching the Constitution. Executive Order 12333 is the first pillar, but there's another pillar, Matt, that matters here, because you pointed out a document there which talks about the KSM case, the Khalid Sheikh Mohammed case, which is a case I know really well. One of the reasons I know who Luis Elizondo is and why he's such a pillar of the US intelligence establishment is because I know the work that he did in the KSM, the Khalid Sheikh Mohammed case. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is one of the bad guys that's locked up in Guantanamo. He's currently facing criminal charges under military law. He's being tried by a military tribunal in Guantanamo. The document you put up on screen, I think it was dated, correct me if I'm wrong, 2016.
I think
now,
so,
that's
yes.
important. That's 1 year before Lou went public, okay? Now, in law, I'm an attorney by training. In law, the orders that were made by the court would have been made very, very early on in those hearings. So that case was filed in 2016. Let's assume that the order that the court made that required the retention of Luis Elizondo's emails was made in 2016 or perhaps early 2017. That means that any officer, any enlisted person in the United States Department of Defense was under military order to heed the order of the court. Now, why does that matter? Now, I don't break court orders at all. You know, as a journalist, but also as somebody who was trained as an attorney, I've learned you heed court orders. But when you're dealing with military law, this is when this really matters. Because in military order, insubordination, the defiance of a legitimate order of a military court is a grave military offence, punishable by up to 5 years in jail, a dishonourable discharge, and forfeiture of all pay and allowances. This is an offence, a military offence under military law. If what you're saying is true, if it's true that the Pentagon is hiding, concealing emails that it has previously said publicly in a response to a lawful FOI complaint are destroyed and do not exist, if they've told a court that those emails have been destroyed in defiance of a court order, however way you look at this, this is an insubordination offence under military law. It is a defiance of an order. In war, whoever did that would be put up against a wall and shot. I kid you not. This is one of the gravest offences in military law. What we're looking at here is prima facie evidence that suggests that the Pentagon has committed a grave criminal offence. That individuals in the Department of Defence have committed offences that are offences of insubordination, defiance of military law, defiance of the orders of a serious high-level court. Now, I don't know what it takes to get the Congress upset about what's going on, but I think we've finally crossed a line here, Matt. This is fucking incredible.
Yeah, no, it's
I
really...
just can't believe that they've done this.